A fulfilling retirement is different for everyone. For some people, it's about spending time with your family. For others, it's about finally having enough time to explore something new. If you're single, you have the freedom to choose the country and setting you want to spend your golden years in. For some, being alone is actually an advantage. There is no partner to convince, no compromise on where you land, no family vote holding you back. You can move faster, choose bolder, take more risks, and go further than most couples planning retirement right now. And because you're spending on one person instead of two, your money stretches in ways a couple's budget never will. In this video, we're ranking the best countries in the world for solo retirees. Places where even a modest budget buys you a life that actually feels full. Think beach mornings, hiking trails, minutes from your door, and bars or rooftop scenes where you'll never eat dinner alone unless you actually want to. Another thing to note is that every single country on this list gives you real, functioning healthcare. That too at a fraction of what you'd pay across the US, Canada, or most of Western Europe. So with all this in consideration, here are the best countries for solo retirees on a budget. Number 12, Tanzania. Tanzania isn't a country that tops retirement lists, especially not for couples. But for solo retirees, the country's island of Zanzibar is quietly building a case for itself. In recent years, it's become a magnet for remote workers chasing a tropical, budget-friendly escape, and a small wave of foreign buyers has followed. Taking advantage of new rules that let non-citizens fully own commercial and residential property. However, don't come here expecting an active nightlife. Zanzibar has little in the way of bars or a party scene, and that's largely the point. For the most part, it's built for unwinding, not going out. The island's more developed pockets do draw a steady stream of visitors from Scandinavia, Australia, and the UK. All are mostly pulled in by its white sand beaches, luxury resorts, standout local cuisine, and lush forested interior. It also carries real credentials, as it ranks among the safest islands in Africa, a factor drawing more retirees and remote workers to relocate full-time rather than just visit. Cost of living remains low enough that many long-term residents simply base themselves in local resort or a hotel for months at a stretch. In terms of visa, it hosts C2 residence permit, which is targeted at international retirees aged 55 and older with a pension or other steady income. To get to this island, you won't find any air carriers from North America that fly directly to Zanzibar. However, there are flight connections from major hubs in the Middle East, as well as Europe and South Africa. For basic healthcare, it has cheap and adequate clinics and hospitals available throughout the urban zones, but retirees with major medical attentions might struggle to live here. Number 11, Turkey. Turkey might not be as appealing as top countries like Portugal, Italy, or Spain, but for a solo retiree, it deserves a spot on the list. More than 60 million internationals visit Turkey annually, out of which around 1.5 million visit here for cosmetic surgery and hair transplants. Cost of living is relatively low by Western standards, and the exchange rate works heavily in your favor if your income comes in dollars, euros, or pounds. Its Mediterranean front, mainly the Turkish Riviera, is the main draw for retirees. Riviera's seaside towns provide mild winters and a slower pace of life. But bear in mind, these resort towns can get pretty expensive during peak tourist season, when prices spike to match the crowds. But outside the touristic zones, daily life remains pretty affordable. The locals are known for their hospitality, and solo retirees often find it easy to build a social circle here. Istanbul is the one place to stay alert, because tourist scams are a known issue in the city, though that risk drops sharply once you're settled in. Healthcare is another strong point, with quality private care available at a fraction of US or UK prices. On the downside, Turkey has no dedicated retirement visa. Instead, retirees apply for a short-term residence permit, which is typically valid for up to 2 years and renewable indefinitely, provided they can show steady income or pension funds sufficient to live without working. If you want something more permanent and lucrative, you can invest in business or real estate, which in return can grant residency and even a citizenship. Number 10. Chile. Chile is a poor fit for couples chasing a truly cheap retirement. But for solo retirees, the cost of living tends to work out favorably. Geographically, it is hard to summarize in one sentence. The country stretches over 2,600 miles from the Atacama Desert in the north to Patagonia's glaciers in the south, covering nearly every climate in between. That range means retirees can choose their conditions rather than settle for one. There's Viña del Mar, a slow, sun-soaked seaside town built for unwinding. There's Santiago, the capital, dense with culture, energy, and a sizable international populace. And further south, the Lake District offers a quieter, scenery-driven alternative for those who prioritize nature over city life. English gets you through most upscale neighborhoods and tourist zones without much trouble, but a bit of Spanish goes a long way once you're off the beaten path. And the best part is that Chile's retirement visa comes with very lenient requirements. It is a 2-year temporary visa, which requires proof of a stable monthly pension or regular passive income, a clean criminal record, and valid health coverage. This visa is extendable indefinitely if the requirements are still met at the time of initial expiration. Number 9. The Philippines. Most people fly out to the Philippines for vacation initially. Once they spend a couple of weeks, they convert their temporary stay into a more permanent affair. Some call this the Philippines effect, and solo retirees have been catching it for years. Expenses are staggeringly low. Social Security check will easily cover your monthly expenditures. It's part of why so many Americans choose to retire here in their 50s, rather than waiting it out back home. Then there's the human factor. Filipinos are famously warm. English is spoken everywhere, and it's not rare at all for an early retiree to end up marrying a local and settling in for good. Its government takes extra leaps to welcome internationals by handing out easy retirement visas. Currently, its main retirement program is called the Special Resident Retirees Visa, which grants the applicant indefinite residency with multiple entry privileges. The main threshold is a minimum monthly pension of $1,000, along with a one-time deposit of $15,000 in a local bank. Number 8. South Africa. South Africa is a paradise for those who enjoy retirement in the outdoors. Over here, modern city life sits close to beaches, vineyards, mountains, and world-famous wildlife reserves. Its city of Cape Town is often ranked as one of the world's most beautiful cities due to its natural setting and seaside promenade. However, Cape Town's upscale pockets don't come cheap, and property or dining there can rival prices in parts of Western Europe. But zoom out, and the math still favors South Africa overall. Even at its priciest, day-to-day life here tends to run noticeably lower than in the US or most of Western Europe. The one honest caveat is that safety varies sharply by neighborhood, and some areas carry real risk. For a solo retiree, though, this is manageable. Stick to established, well-patrolled retirement and expat pockets, and that risk drops close to zero. Beyond safety, South Africa has many amenities retirees value. Excellent private hospitals and clinics in cities like Cape Town and Johannesburg mean healthcare is high quality. Its government issues a retirement visa to those providing minimum income or pension of $2,000. Number 7. Albania. An underrated gem in the Balkans, Albania is quietly emerging as one of Europe's most affordable places to retire, and one of the friendliest for solo movers working with a modest income. The country's biggest draw is its coastline. The Albanian Riviera, stretching from Vlora down through Sarande to the turquoise waters of Ksamil, delivers scenery that rivals Greece or Croatia at a fraction of the cost and without the crowds. Further inland, its capital city of Tirana offers a livelier, more cosmopolitan base, with a growing expat community and enough English spoken to get by comfortably. Foreign pension income is taxed at 0%, and the residence permit for retirees requires proof of only around $13,000 a year in pension income, which is arguably one of the lowest thresholds anywhere in Europe. The permit is issued for 1 year, renews annually, and eventually opens a path to permanent residency after 5 years. The trade-offs are minor. Private health insurance is mandatory, and local bureaucracy, while improving, can still move slowly. But for a solo retiree chasing Mediterranean, living without the Mediterranean price tag, Albania is worth serious consideration before everyone else catches on. Number 6. Brazil. Say Brazil to most people, and the mental image skips straight past the beaches and lands on crime headlines. That reputation isn't baseless, but it's also not the whole story, and it says more about where people go than where they should. Steer clear of the favelas that dominate headlines. Settle into the safer states like Santa Catarina or São Paulo or well-established cities, and the risk most people associate with Brazil drops sharply. Another thing to note is that solo doesn't mean isolated here. Brazilian culture runs on social contact. Conversations start easily, invitations come often, and the entire rhythm of daily life favors people who show up without a +1. And the coastline runs for thousands of miles, offering a different beach town for every mood, at a cost of living that undercuts the US and Western Europe by a wide margin. When it comes to language, English is understood well and spoken in most upscale areas, but basic knowledge of Portuguese always come handy. Its retirement visa requires proof of at least $2,000 a month in pension income. It grants 2 years of renewable residency, with permanent status within reach a few years down the line. Number 5. Belize. Everyone assumes Caribbean retirement comes with a Caribbean price tag. Belize is the quiet exception nobody talks about enough. While flashier neighbors have spent years raising prices to match the wave of retirees flooding in, Belize never got the memo. Rent, groceries, everyday services, all of it still runs lower here than almost anywhere else, with the same turquoise water and swaying palms. And most importantly, English is the official language. So no classes, no guessing at the pharmacy, just arrive and settle in. Its government sweetens the deal even further by handing out a retirement visa to those demonstrating an income or pension of just $2,000. Then there's proximity. A short hop from the US and Canada means flying home for a holiday, a family emergency, or just because you miss someone doesn't wreck the budget. To sum it all in 3 words, it is cheap, close, and understood. For a solo retiree, that's not a small win. That's the whole equation solved. Number 4. Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka doesn't get traction from most of the Western world. And for a solo retiree, that's actually good news. Less hype means fewer crowds, lower prices, and none of the already discovered markup you'll find in places like Bali. In spite of its small size, the country packs an absurd amount of variety. Palm-lined beaches in the south, misty tea country, and cool hill towns up in the highlands, ancient temple ruins, and wildlife reserves. In terms of safety, it has experienced political unrest in early 2020s, but nowadays it is very safe and foreign nationals are barely affected by its political sphere. Though tourist scams are common here, so it is highly advised to stay clear from such charlatans. English is spoken widely enough in cities and coastal towns. Plus, there is a sizable international community, mainly from Australia and South Africa. Furthermore, there are several gated communities near its coastline where foreign retirees can reside with like-minded groups. Though it does not have a specific retirement visa, but offers independent means visa called the My Dream Home visa. This visa is easy to avail and is valid for 2 to 5 years. Number 3. Greece. Greece can be both expensive and affordable. It all depends entirely on where you settle. Most couples retiring in Greece head straight for the islands where the scenery is undeniable, but so is the price tag. In contrast, solo retirees can have better options on the mainland. Everyday costs almost run close to 40% lower than on the islands, without giving up much of what makes Greece appealing in the first place. A single retiree can choose a modern apartment in a mainland city like Thessaloniki, a historic town like Nafplio, or settle into a small coastal community along the Peloponnese. Same blue water, same relaxed pace, at a fraction of island prices. Furthermore, the process of moving to Greece is lenient and straightforward, as it hosts 6 different types of visa programs for retirees. Some are investment-based, while others like the financially independent visa only require sufficient means to support your stay. Number 2. Colombia. Colombia has an image problem, and it's almost entirely inherited from movies rather than the country as it actually is today. Sure, certain pockets of Bogota, Cali, and Buenaventura are worth steering clear of, but cities like Santa Marta, Medellin, and even Cartagena post lower crime rates than plenty of major U.S. cities. For solo retirees, the appeal is the social scene. Medellin's nightlife is one of the liveliest in South America, and its large expat community makes meeting people easy. This isn't a country built for quiet solitude. It's built for someone who wants a full social calendar without needing a +1 to enjoy it. Basic Spanish isn't required in expat hubs like Medellin or Cartagena, but it helps with integration tremendously. Its retirement visa requires proof of a stable pension, usually around $1,000 per month, making it easily attainable for most retirees. Taxes also tend to favor retirees with foreign income, and many expats find that their dollars, pounds, or euros stretch long here. Number 1. Thailand. Everyone already knows about the beaches and the street food. What almost nobody talks about is why Thailand might be the single best place on Earth to retire completely on your own. In cities like Chiang Mai alone, most cafes are full of English-speaking foreigners with meetup groups running every night of the week. While areas like Pattaya and Phuket deliver exciting nightlife, a buzzing dating scene, and every cuisine on the planet a grab ride away. In terms of expenditure, a single retiree's lifestyle that comes with a private apartment, eating out daily, and basic services can run as low as $1,500 a month. Then, its healthcare seals the deal even further. Hospitals here are staffed with English-speaking doctors and priced at a fraction of what the same procedure costs in the US. The visa side is simple too. You must be at least 50 years old and qualify for a non-immigrant OA retirement visa. Eligibility requires either a minimum of $23,000 held in a Thai bank account or verifiable monthly income of at least $1,850. The visa is renewable annually, provided financial requirements continue to be met. Thanks for watching. If you find this video informative, be sure to leave a like. If not, then a dislike. And don't forget to subscribe for more amazing content.